everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Series 12-inch Deadpool figure from Hasbro. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style packaging we've been seeing with all the 12-inch figures. You've got the window box, the figure's clearly displayed. Up in the top left corner, you've got the name of the character. On the front window, you've got the Marvel Legends Series logo. The entire box is done in that kind of metallic, reflective, holographic type font. On the sides of the packaging, you just have images of the figure. And then on the back of the packaging, you have more images of the figure showing off the various accessories that come with it. All right, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging along with the other contents. So first of all, we get 3 different pairs of hands with this figure. We get a pair of closed-fisted hands, then we get a pair of normal grip hands, and then we get a pair of hands where the right hand is an open grip hand, and then the left hand is a thumbs-up hand. Now, switching out the hands is pretty easy. You just pop off the hand you want to replace. One thing to note, though, is the bottom piece of the glove is a separate piece. It is a hard plastic, but it will come off the figure when you remove the hand, so just be careful not to drop that and lose it because it is a little bit small. And then you just pop in the hand you want to replace it with, and it should pop in there pretty easily and fit nice and tight. The figure comes with 2 katana swords. The swords look exactly the same. You've got a grayish type plastic for the blade, and you've got a little bit of sculpting detail. You've got this line sculpted down the blade, and then you've got the black on the handles, and again you've got some sculpting detail with it looks like a wrap on the handle, so that looks pretty good. No real paint detail on these, just a gray plastic with the black handles. And he does have a place to store the swords on his back. This is done, these sheaths are done with just a brown type plastic. They're pretty hard, so they're not really flexible or anything. Now, to get the swords in there, you want to make sure that you line up the groove on the sword with the wider part of the opening on the top here, and then you just push the sword down. Now, once you get to this point, you do have to kind of push hard because it doesn't go down super easy. So if you want to get the sword down all the way, you do have to push a little bit. But once you do that, the swords do stay in there nice and secure. Now the sheaths are attached to this harness piece, and the harness piece is separate from the figure, but it's all one piece. The gun belt and everything's all attached to this harness piece, which is removable. He comes with 2 different knives, and these are different. The sculpting on the blades and the handles is a bit different. Again, no paint detail like with the swords, but you've got the green plastic for the handles, and then you've got that gray plastic for the blades, and you've got some sculpting detail on the blades. So they look pretty good overall. And then like with the swords, he does have a place to store the knives on this harness piece. So you have one sheath here on the front, and I don't think it really matters which knife you put in which sheath. They should slide in. Now it does fit in a little better if you have the blade turned a certain way, so you just have to play with it till it fits in there good. And then the second one here is here on the back, and again you can just slide it in there and it should fit nice and secure. He comes with a chimichanga, and you've got a metallic silver for the foil portion, and I like the sculpting detail with all the little dents in the foil. And then they've used a cream color for the bread portion, and then they've got this red and yellowish color for the insides of the chimichanga. And if you want him to hold it, you want to make sure you have that larger right grip hand in, and he'll hold it nice and secure. So he comes with 2 different blasters, and these look very kind of Deadpoolish / Cable, something either one of those would use. Now these are painted red and black to match Deadpool, and on the larger blaster you've got Deadpool's face painted on the side. And I do like the kind of sculpting detail with the little line work and everything. I don't know if I like the red and black look for the weapons. I almost would prefer like a metallic gun gray or something. But overall, I think they're pretty good and look like something Deadpool would use. And as long as you have the normal grip hands in, he'll hold either weapon in either hand, and he holds them nice and tight. We get 3 different head sculpts with this figure. So we get the normal Deadpool head, and I like the detailing on it with the wrinkles on the mask and how the eyes are posed, which is very similar to the Marvel Legends 6-inch version. And he's got the little piece of the mask that kind of hangs out here on the back. Then you've got the mask that's halfway ripped off, so some of his face is exposed. I would almost rather if they'd just given us a completely unmasked head, but as it is, you just get a partial unmasked. It looks pretty good and all, again with the wrinkles and everything on the mask, and you got a little hole here on the side. So I like the detailing on it. I just think it would have been cooler maybe if they'd just given us a simple unmasked head. And then finally we get this Headpool version, which is a zombified type looking head. And I like the detailing on it with the eye and the teeth and the skin, shriveled up skin. And he's got the little propeller hat, and the propeller does spin on the back there. Switching out the heads on the figure is easy. You just pop off the head you want to replace. It's a ball joint, and then you just pop on the head that you want to replace it with. You may have to turn it a little bit to pop in, but once you do, it's nice and secure. Now for the Headpool head sculpt, they've actually given you this separate figure stand, and it's done with just almost semi-translucent plastic, and you've got this little ball here on the top here, and what you do is you just plug the head in there. And then I should also note that with this head, the jaw is actually articulated, so you can open and close the mouth. And then you can set that Headpool head with the stand next to Deadpool, and it looks kind of like it's floating next to him. In case you were wondering, the Headpool sculpt will fit on the body of Deadpool. Okay, so for the figure itself, I think they've done a decent job. However, I do have some complaints with this figure. My biggest complaint is probably the fact that they didn't make these pistols, the one here on his waist and the one here on his thigh, removable. These are actually just sculpted in there, so these are not working gun holsters. So to me, that's very disappointing for a figure like this. I think that definitely should be a working gun holster. Both of them should be. Also, as I mentioned before, the harness piece is removable. You can just unplug the belt here and remove it if you want to. I'm not going to take it fully off, but again, it is actually removable in a separate piece if you want to take it off. And that belt just kind of plugs in. So, and it's pretty easy to get on and off. I do like the pouches. Not a whole lot of paint detail here. A little bit on the brown, so it does look like it's leather. So I do like that. And then for the rest of the figure, it's just basically red and black. You've got the metallic silver on the eyes. As I said, I think the face sculpt looks pretty good. Looks pretty much like the 6-inch Marvel Legends version. The other complaint that I really kind of have is with the feet. I don't think the feet look very good. I don't know. It looks more like he's wearing sandals than boots or anything. It just, I don't know why, but just looks a little bit weird to me. He's got the big silver buckles and all. So I think it's kind of how the ankles look and everything. It just looks like he's wearing a pair of sandals as opposed to actual shoes. The figure stands just a little bit under 12 inches tall. Here's a comparison with the other 3 Marvel Legend 12-inch figures from Hasbro. So we've got Iron Man, Captain America, and Spider-Man. Looks like Deadpool is kind of in between Captain America and Iron Man, and Spider-Man is the shortest of the 4. And then finally, here's a comparison with some of the older Toy Biz 12-inch versions, Wolverine and Captain America. Okay, so for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. It's on a ball hinge joint. He can look down pretty good, and he can look up about that much. Really can't pivot the head to the left and the right, though. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so he can get his arm out good. He's got good rotation there. He's got a butterfly joint, so he's got back and forth movement there at the shoulder as well. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double hinged elbow, so good bending there at the elbow. He's got ball hinge joints at the wrist, so you've got rotation, and you do have hinges, but because of this glove piece, this bottom part of the glove piece kind of covers that joint, you can only do it up and down about that much. He's got a midsection joint, so he's got a little bit of rotation there, and the harness kind of limits that some, but you can rotate there if you want to. And he doesn't really have much crunch there at the midsection, a little bit, and you can pivot to the left and right a little bit there at the midsection, and he can look back about that much. He does not have a waist swivel, though. He does have an actual ab crunch joint, so he can crunch down more with that ab crunch, and then he can look back more pretty good with that ab crunch as well. Legs are attached with ball joints. He can only do the splits about that much, and then he can get his leg forward good, and he can do his leg kind of out and back about that much. He has a thigh swivel. He's got a double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. He's got a boot cuff swivel, and then he's got hinges on the feet, so up and down movement. He's got rotation there with the feet, and he does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I would say this is a decent figure. However, I wouldn't really consider it a great one, and it's probably my least favorite in this line. I don't really like the way the feet look, and I'm very disappointed in the fact that they did not make the pistols and the holsters removable. I think for a figure like this, that's almost a given. Now, this figure has started to see a limited release. I actually picked mine up off of eBay. I do believe Big Bad Toy Store should start taking pre-orders for it soon. Now, I'm curious, do you think this line should continue, or do you think it will continue? We've not heard any other figures announced for this line since Deadpool. We might hear some more next month at Toy Fair, I don't know. But I do know like the previous 3 figures are on clearance at Big Bad Toy Store right now. So I'm curious what you think the future of this line holds. Do you think we'll see more? Do you want to see more? Let me know in the comments section below. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have a link to all of that in the video description below. And until next time, I'll catch you later.